This song right here is dedicated to all my people. Sounds like giving up, and you didn't think you were
Alexa, turn off. Hey, everybody. Welcome to this edition of Tea Time with Bunky. Welcome to Tea Time with Bunky Radio Podcast. Welcome to Tea Time with Bunky Radio Podcast, which is powered by Zeno FM with additional monitoring by online radio. I would like to thank all of my Tea Time with Bunky followers and subscribers that have been there from the beginning, people that are just learning and supporting me. I want to say thank you and welcome. I appreciate you. Make sure you tell a friend and tell a friend. Tea Time with Bunky, now Tea Time with Bunky Radio, is also on LLR Ohio Radio, which airs at 9 p.m. on Thursdays, and also on Culture Shock Radio, which airs in Canada on Friday mornings at 8:30. So make sure you tune in and support. Right now I have my fellow artists that are on the radio stations. He's on right now, DJ Melody, and following Tea Time with Bunky at 10 p.m. will be Let's Get Activated. So make sure you guys tune into that. So remember, we're powered by Zeno FM radio station and online radio for additional monitoring. LLR Ohio, Culture Shock Radio, and the Tattoo Shop. Those are the three radio stations. Tonight's show, now that I got that out of the way, tonight's show is it was a show I didn't think I would ever have, to be honest with you. It was never in the plan. But the way things lined up, the way things happened, if you all saw, I had put it up on my platform. If you saw my show September 19th, Where's Aliyah? I had Aliyah's mother on, Miss Denise McClary. I don't remember. She was on the show. And how that happened, like I didn't know the story because this is in Texas. I'm in New York. Someone reached out to me on her behalf to get her daughter's story out, right? So I'm just giving you a real quick run through about what went down. She wanted to get her daughter's story out. Okay, all right, fine. So I reach out to her mom, and I'm talking to her, and it's horrific. If you go to YouTube and put in Alyuah Wilson, everything you see is going to be traumatic. If you Google it, everything is traumatic. She was 22 years old. As you can see, I'm speaking about her in past tense. She was 22 years old. Her death was deemed suicide by bodily force, jumping, hanging, by the Houston Police Department. And I have all these suicide crises. There may be some triggers in this. It's a lot going on. There may be some triggers with this show. So I just want to put it out there that if anybody feels, if you feel as if you don't want to be here anymore or whatever, things are too much for you, whatever, there's always help. You can NAMI, the NAMI hotline is 741-741. Just text that number, and there are crisis counselors that are available to you 24/7. In Franklin County in Ohio, you can call 614-221-5445. And that's Adam, ADAMH, Board of Franklin County. And then there's CMHA, Ontario. You just text 45645. Those are for my listeners. There's always someone there for you. I don't know. I'm really dealing with mental illness, working in that field and different things like that. Aliyah was bipolar. That doesn't make her suicidal. She was bipolar. So there was a lot of situations with this young lady. Beautiful, beautiful young lady. But there's a lot of questions. That's why I say, go back and look at my show, September 15th, so you can hear what her mother was saying. go to YouTube and you can see all the horrible things her mother was saying that just didn't make sense. Coming from a mother, I would never speak of my child or children in that light. So I really want you guys to go back and see that. And that brings us to today. That brings us to today, where I have today's guest, Courtney Chris Brown. Courtney Chris, she'll correct it, telling her story for the first time. When you Google, like I said, when you Google Aliyah's name, Alyuah Wilson, you will hear and see so much horrible, horrible nonsense, mess. It's just really, really messy. And Chris, it was someone that was close to her, and I just didn't. I felt that Chris had a story. Everybody has a side. Everybody has a side, and I know that there was more to it than what than we all saw with that nonsense. So without further ado, Miss.
All right, I was not ready for that. Whoa.
Oh,
Well, you caught me off guard. Like, whoa. Behind the scenes, backstage. How y'all doing?
And you froze. You froze.
Can you see
Okay,
me?
you're good.
Can you see
You're
me?
good.
Can you hear me?
Totally.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Can
ma'am.
you hear me? Because my earphones. Okay. How are you?
You sound nervous. You sound more nervous than me.
Let me tell you. I'm gonna be honest with you. Nobody ever asked me this before. Before every show, I'm nervous. Till about 5 minutes in.
You know, that's
and
all.
Then God
is me. I'm naturally. I ain't nervous. I was, but now you caught me off guard, so I ain't know that. That went out the window. Shit, that went out the window.
Well, I'm glad I broke the ice.
I'm glad I wasn't in a weird pose or anything.
Welcome to Tea Time with Bunky. Can you hear me? Welcome.
Yes.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you coming on. Absolutely. Like I was saying before, when I saw all of the things that I saw, when I had the interview, you guys go back, YouTube it, September 15th. They understand where I'm coming from. But I want you to tell everybody a little bit about you before we get into this. A little bit about you.
Well, I mean, what is there to know? What do y'all want to know? No, I'm 27. So I'm.
Oh, you're 27.
I'm from
Okay.
Houston. I'm 20. From Houston, Texas. I was born 9/11/95. I don't know. You gotta get to know. I don't know how to just, you know what I'm saying, talk a little bit about myself. It's the people who know me, that y'all know me.
Okay.
And those that know me know that I've come a long, long, long way since I was back in high school. Okay. So I am doing a podcast. I am dropping my first podcast January 15th of 2023. There's a lot of few things that I'm working on, a lot of creative things that I'm just.
What is that called? Do you have your name?
Oh, iVisual Creations is my brand name, but my podcast name is going to be Talk My Shit Madness. So
okay. Okay. Okay.
Excuse my French, but that's what it's called.
Okay, that's what it's called. Okay. I respect it.
Don't make me nervous.
Now, I'm not. I'm going to jump into it. Okay. I'm going to jump into it.
Okay, let's jump
now. You were Aliyah's partner for how long? How long did you know Aliyah?
I knew her. I met Aliyah February 25th, 2018. I met her. I met her then. So I knew her for about 3 years.
So about 3 years. And she passed away. 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Maybe you can clarify this for me. Okay. From what I was originally told, she passed away on July 19th, 2020. But then the story changed throughout to July 16th or July 17th. Do you remember?
No, it was definitely July
2020.
19th.
It was July 19th?
It was definitely July 19th. That's when I was told. That's when everybody was speaking on it. Her friends at the time, or everybody just on the media. It was July 19th.
Okay, it was July 19th. Okay. And how did you now before we get into this part, tell me, please, help me know her. Because when I say that, tell me if you understand what I'm saying when I say this. Like you hear it all the time. There's your birth date, there's your death date, and then there's the dash. You know what the dash is, right?
Yeah. That's
You
the
know,
little, till until this day, sunset, sunrise, sunset.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you. So fill in that dash for me. Tell me a little bit.
When I first met Aliyah, she was just first of all, she was the most gorgeous, beautiful girl I've ever just came across, or just, I was just, I didn't think she was going to talk to me. We met each other off a dating app. It was called POF, which is Plenty of Fish or whatever. I'll never get back on that app again. But yeah, so I met her there, and once I seen her picture, I didn't think she would really talk to me. I didn't think she would respond to my message, but she was so very open. After we exchanged numbers, she literally FaceTimed me the same day, February 25th, that same day, and she was just like the most. She seemed like the most happiest thing, like, to ever just be here. You wouldn't be able to tell anything of like her past, or all her deepest secrets or anything. Her face showed nothing but happiness, joy. You know what I'm saying? She had a big smile, and she's very open. She's very open about her past, and very open about who she was and how she carried herself, where she come from. She was from Flint, Michigan. So, but all in all, she was always in Houston, so she was going back and forth. But Aliyah, for the most part, she was an artist, a great drawer. She had a great voice. She could sing. She loved to sing. God forbid, I would be looking at her like, oh, can I hear her sing, please? Can I hear the artist sing? But she was a very happy person. She wanted to be a model. She had a lot of things that she wanted to do, as far as putting herself out there in the media in ways where you wouldn't think of it, approve of it. But hey, she didn't care. She didn't care. She just she had a big heart. And a lot of people did not see that in her. They did not see what I seen in her. And of course, that's only because it was me and her for each other to see. But she loved her sister. She loved her siblings. She loved talking to me about her siblings, especially doing like when she was younger. She did mention things that she loved to do with her mom, especially like for like the holidays and stuff like that. And how her mom would cook. She loved her mom cooking. Lord knows, I always told her, like, I'm gonna have to try that. I'm gonna have to try that one. I'm gonna have to try that. But her favorite thing was steak. She loved her some steak. I don't know why, but she loved her some steak with some extra butter. She loves some steak. What else? Aliyah, she loved to write. She did have her days where she would write. She liked to be around.
She was a journaler.
Yeah, she did. She did, definitely was. She had a lot of friends. I've never met somebody who threw the word friend so loosely around. It was just every time she would talk to me, she, hey, babe, ooh, my friend, or ooh, my friend here, and this and that. By the time I got, like, it was a couple months in, or a month in already, I was like, you sure do got a lot of friends. And not to mention, she did travel, or from here to there. From what I know, she been to Cali, she went to Florida. She the last place I know she went to was to Tennessee. She's been to Arizona. She's been to a couple of places that I wouldn't have thought that she would be how she ended up there. My guess is as good as yours, but that's just that. She's also been in Louisiana. She lived in a couple different places with a few different people.
had no idea.
But
I had no idea.
Oh well, yeah, but yeah, she did. She lived in a few other states besides Houston and Michigan. So, like I said,
Wow.
She loved her siblings. She loved them, and that's really all she was big on was her siblings.
Mm-hmm.
Despite anything else, that's all she wanted was
Right.
her to have a bond with her siblings
Mm-hmm.
as they grew up. She wanted to have a baby. There were times where we talked about it, and she would I just want to have a baby. I just want to have a baby. She just wanted something that belonged to her.
Hers.
That was her.
Yeah.
Because that way she just wanted to be able to become a mom, and
Right.
be able to treat her child differently, show them everything
Right.
that she wasn't shown as a child.
Right.
She just wanted to do things for others. She had a big heart. All my friends,
Sounds like it.
all my friends, they liked her. They did like Aliyah. They at a point in time, what I'm saying, when they all first met her or whatever, but there was no bad blood or anything with anybody until later down the line.
So it sounds well, thank you. Number one, thank you for helping me know who she was.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because like I said, the only picture I saw and heard was very traumatic. It didn't fit the appearance in the pictures,
Mm-hmm.
But you can also see in her eyes that there was an emptiness. You could tell there was a longing.
Yeah,
You could tell there was a longing. You were somebody that was very important to her. She was important to you.
mm-hmm.
She was only 22 years old, right, when she
Mm-hmm.
took her life, according to police reports, according to everything is
According to the police reports,
according to police reports. But your importance of being here, well, to tell your story, tell your side. When I keep saying your side,
well,
and why
it's gonna always
yeah,
be my side, her side, and the truth.
yeah,
But
I saw
unfortunately,
your.
we will never hear her side. But what
No.
I could at least do is put what I know of that side, and let others know what that was, regardless
Yeah.
of what was being told. He say, she say, this and that. Man, if you wasn't there, that's how likely. You know what I'm saying? If you weren't there
Yeah.
to witness anything, you can't go based on what she said. She is no
Right.
longer here to say anything. So therefore, everybody was just spreading words and going based off the last thing she might have told them. Like when we got together, nobody's relationship is perfect, especially for two
No.
individuals that have come from messed up families, especially her family. Me being the individual person that I am, I've never, dealt with someone who was suicidal or just very open and very out there, with just how she was.
Did she talk about it? Did she talk about it though?
Talk about what?
Did she ever mention it? Did she ever mention like randomly that she wanted to take her life, or was this just something that came out?
I had Lead Club one time for her. My friend called me one night. I was out with my best friend, and we were out, and something told me to stay home, and then something told my friend not to come pick me up. But in a sense, when we got to the place, we got to the little club, a little whatever. I kid you not, 10, 15 minutes later, I got a phone call. My friend now this is a friend of Aliyah's from Fort Worth that she had met, and when she had met her, that's when me and Aliyah were, together at the time. So I'm not sure if I can say names on here on this, but this is a Fort Worth friend. She came down to Houston a couple of times for Aliyah, and the last time she came was when Aliyah was at her last apartment, where she was last located, like at or whatever. So my friend, she had called me and was begging me to say basically to come home, that I needed to come home because Aliyah was having these thoughts. She was feeling, very contemplated, and that it sounded like it was necessary. Like I needed to hurry up and get there. So my friend, we left. She took me home that night. And I've always, even before that night, Aliyah has always mentioned anything doing like for suicide or with suicide. She always mentioned she was a very open person. She talked about a lot of things you wouldn't expect anyone to talk about, or bring up of themselves. I know we meet strangers here and there, but some stuff you just don't get on the phone talking to people about. Like,
yeah, there's just some things. There's just some things you don't say, and people need to watch that show and they can see what I'm talking about.
Right. And it was just like, as I got to like know her, the more she started opening up, and when she started giving me or telling me her, her deepest secrets, and I'm pretty sure nobody else knows. I don't believe nobody else would know, because those kind of secrets, if you know, you know. But if those kind of secrets, they don't just come up to the surface. Those type of topics or those things, it takes a lot out of a person to really want to sit here and talk about those things that were done to them, or what they had to go through, or what happened to them. They're not just going to tell anything, like anybody. It don't matter. I believe that I was the only person that knew about anything that had happened to her. Oh, when she was in Dallas, especially when she was in Dallas. But
when she was younger?
Even when she got older.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, those secrets were revealed. They were revealed, and which was shocking to me. It was shocking to me that they were revealed, because there's just some things. You just
don't say. Especially a mother should not say as well. Especially talking about their, their deceased, their child. You don't talk about that stuff online. You don't talk about it. You don't go play Junie B. Jones, or the Detective Gadget. I don't freaking know, but it's just like, you don't do those things. And really and truly, at the end of the day, you're not doing this for Aliyah. This is not helping her at all, and this is definitely not putting, like, or how would they say that? She's not resting, because she will never get.
She's not getting peace.
There's
no peace behind all of this.
Yeah, her name is steady being passed on, and this and that, or nothing is being positively told about her. Now, I can say the last person that had a very good connection with her as well is her play sister at the time. That she came in a little late, around the mid of 2020, to come stay with Aliyah. They looked alike. They could be sisters if they wanted to, but that was another person that really did care and saw Aliyah for who she really was, and not the mask that Aliyah put up in front of people, or made herself to look like. So, and
she trusted you guys.
Yeah,
she really trusted you to tell you. Okay. All right. Wow. I'm sorry.
No,
I'm sorry.
Don't be.
But I'm sorry for her. Yeah. I'm sorry for her, because, like you said, a mother wouldn't do that. I know. I would go to my grave protecting mine.
And no end would you. Baby, look, look, don't put my name. She's gonna go hunt them down. She ain't finna get on no internet talking. She's not finna do none of that. She gonna let the laws. She gonna let authorities handle it. But she will not
and that's
be buried and just tossed around or anything. She gonna stand up. She 10 toes for me all the way. Please, if somebody see my mama on Facebook, Instagram, anywhere, please stop her. Send her to get help. Tell her no. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just not. You don't do that.
That's not cool. It's not. You don't do that. You don't do that. Now,
I can say Aliyah's favorite holiday was Halloween. She loved Halloween. I remember she dressed up for Halloween one time when she worked. This was back in 2018. She was working at Walgreens when we had our own apartment. But it was my apartment. But I say it was ours because she did come and live with me, and I treated it like it was me and hers. Although she couldn't. Her name couldn't go on the lease, but that's because she had some other past tense, stuff going on with that, and it just wasn't. She couldn't do it, but I still treated like that was me and her apartment. You know what I'm saying? So
right now, during your relationship, because we're getting ready we're getting ready to go into this. You, like you said, no relationship is perfect.
Not at all.
No relationship is perfect. You guys had a rough go. You guys had a rough go.
Man,
You guys had
what
some situations.
I'm talking about, we
It was
must have
like,
hit rock bottom. No, that was like the way of us going into things. Like, I think one of the biggest things that my biggest mistake that I had made was being with Aliyah was involving my friends, involving them, or having them too much involved to the point they knew so much about her that everything she did against me, or whatever, they could not come
that's
back
why you don't
from
put
it.
people in your business.
They
That's why you don't put
couldn't look
any.
at her the same no more. Nobody was like, I don't care. That person that they saw first, that they couldn't look at her like that no more, because the person which is me, they cared about. They see their friend that's never dealt with something like this or anyone like this, and they care about my safety, my concern, and being physically, mentally, and emotionally abused. It was just like they could not stand that. They couldn't fathom it at all.
Now, let me ask you, when y'all were together, at any time did she ever think about, because I'm big on therapy. I'm big on therapy.
Yes, she did go to
well,
therapy.
not even just therapy. I'm big on talking about it. You have to talk about it. You can't keep stuff. And from what I heard about her childhood and everything that led up until the end, this was someone who really needed somebody or several people.
I feel like I was a blessing that for her. I was like, I'm not gonna sit here and say I was the last. Well, I'm gonna sit here. Well, matter of fact, I am the last person, that knew her, that loved her, that I'm saying, that she was with, in a relationship with. You know what I'm saying? Like any like who she had a serious relationship with. At the time there were people trying to debate on Facebook, this is her first love, or this was her first love, and look.
You mean after the fact? Huh? You mean after the fact?
Yeah, like everybody wanted to claim like, I was her first love, or I was her man, please. If anybody knows, I was her first love. And I looked at it. We all have our puppy loves. Our first love is a little puppy love, you know what I'm saying? But when you in a relationship with a person and you are invested in this person, not for 2-3 months and then you break up, or no, for first 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, once, it's just like that. That's a different type of level of love.
Right.
And that's a different type of level of commitment and investment in, you know what I'm saying? So with that, it's like she was mine and I was hers. I ain't look at it no different. Like everybody knew, all my friends knew how much I loved Aliyah. Everybody, I was going crazy on her before, like behind her. Like not as trying to fight nobody or anything. It was just behind her because of the type of person she was. She was fragile. She was so fragile.
That's good.
So wanted to
That's good how you said that. She was fragile. That totally explains her. Fragile. She was fragile.
And
she was fragile. And you can't blame her. You can't blame her at all. Now let me ask you, did she ever talk about her dad?
Yeah,
she ever talk to
She did.
Did she have a relationship with him?
I mean, she stayed with him at a point in time back when she was younger or whatever. He was never at the house, from what I was told. She would be in the house all the time or whatever, and he was never there. But other than that, she did tell me that he had cancer, I think, and that I think it was his side of the family that her like grandparents or something was in Jehovah's Witness as well.
Her father.
Yeah, it was. Okay, so I just wanted to make sure. But I never heard his voice, never talked to him, never heard her talk to him. If anybody she would talk to was her stepdad. That's the only person she would really talk. That's the one she really had a relationship with, I guess. Yeah.
So she had a relationship, with her stepdad. Now, how was her, from what you saw, it was like you froze crazy. From what you saw being there, Did she talk to her mom every day?
Man, I tried to get that girl to talk to her mama all the time. She didn't want to talk to her mama, man. I swear she never. I knew all the stuff that she, like Aliyah went through with her mom. She always like, she was very open with me. You know what I'm saying? Like I had her to the point where she was so open. She told me everything. I could read her like the back of my hand. So
okay, all right. No, we don't need to talk about mom no more. We're not talking about mom no more.
No, of course.
Now, because believe it or not, we only have a half an hour and it's going to go fast. Let's go to that day, July 19th.
Oh. All I know on that day is that day.
Because you two weren't together at this point, right? You weren't.
No, we weren't together.
Right. You had broke up. Okay.
We had been broken up. I didn't think we were together anymore after the day that my grandfather passed away, which was in 2019. It was the day after he passed when she kicked me out.
Okay.
Behind, God forbid, something so petty. But we were kind of like on and off. We was just seeing each other, but you know what I'm saying? The love was there, but it was just like we were not together. We didn't put a title on it. We knew what was up with each other.
Right.
You know, so because it was just an on and off thing. But yeah.
Did somebody tell you?
Yeah, actually, it was one of her exes. You know, I didn't know who this person was, but when they hit me up, I kind of thought it was. I was just like, what you want? What you want in my inbox? You know what I'm saying? I thought it was like they were trying to. Wow. It was one of Aliyah's people, like, you know, trying to come say something or start some mess. And that night, I happened to be drinking. Mind you, I didn't start drinking heavy until I got with Aliyah. Okay. I didn't start drinking. I was already drinking before I met her, but I wasn't drinking heavy until I got with her. You know? Okay. So when I heard, it was just like the girl was basically telling me in the inbox, well, hey, this is about your ex, you know, yada, yada, yada. Hit me up ASAP. So I did. And she basically told me that, you know, your ex is passed. I said, huh? I said, I know you lying. Yeah. What you mean? Yeah. I just could have swore she was just, you know what I'm saying? Talking about, from what I heard, talking about going back home.
Right.
Like she wanted to go home, and that she had her court date or whatever in July and it had to do with me sending her some, like, you know what I'm saying? Because of some stuff that happened back in 2018 that, you know, I had to call my friends immediately to pull up because I felt like I was in danger, you know? Okay. So when I seen the message, I was like, oh my God, but I'm drunk. So it's like, oh, here it comes. The tears. I'm like, oh, the first thing I need to think of is I need to talk to her mom. I need to find her mom. You know what I'm saying?
That's why you text her mom then.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that connects that with that. So you found out via messenger through
one of her exes.
And so you reached out to her mom.
Because nobody else could get in contact with her mom. They didn't know who her mom was. They didn't know her name. Nobody knew her name. I did. And that's the funny part. Everybody want to point the finger, but y'all couldn't even find who her mom was on Facebook. Y'all couldn't even put a name to this woman. But
she mentioned that. She mentioned that after her daughter passed. Well, I had to explain to her because she was saying how, you know, nobody called her. Well, if they don't know who you are,
they couldn't get in contact with her. Nobody could.
If they don't know, right? It's not like she's a baby. Mm-hmm. You know, not like she's a baby.
You know what I'm saying? Like they were what? Right.
So you reached out to mom,
and
how did that go? Because that's where all this shenanigans start after.
Well, she didn't respond back until the next morning. And like I said, I was very intoxicated. So the way I might have just said it or came off about it, it may have sounded rude, or it may have sounded like I just willy-nilly threw it out there. I wasn't trying to. But then again, I wasn't also I was in an alternate state of mind.
Yeah. So, you had your own feelings. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It was random. It was very random. So to hear news like that, all
Right.
of my emotions came pouring. They all just started uprising, every little emotion. And I really could not believe it.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't believe it.
Right.
And it took me, like, I was already over her in a way, but like, for me not to get sad listening to songs that she, you know, she dedicated to me, or for us, you know, that we listened to together in our relationship, it took me a while to where I, at one point when I heard a song, I didn't feel the same way as of hearing it. Like, I didn't cry or want to cry, or you know, I didn't feel just anything, but at peace.
Mm-hmm.
So as far as the story with her goes, if it's suicide or this, and you know, nobody really knew, but suicide, if that, her doing that, if that was the case, I'm gonna let you know that that's what she wanted. She always wanted that.
Because
And
didn't she make an attempt before with pills?
several
Yeah,
times,
because her mother
even
said she was
like
doing it
as
for
she was younger, and then a couple of times, few times, 3 times with me. Actually, I had to go to the hospital with her. If it wasn't for my friend calling, you know, the ambulance or whatever, that one time, the very first time, I didn't know what was gonna happen. You know, like I said, this is all new for me. This is somebody I love, but this is yet somebody who's also putting my health, my mental state of mind.
Yeah, I
And
know exactly what you're talking about. I read the police report. Yeah, that's crazy.
you know, like,
That's
I had to break open my own restroom door. You know, I'm freaking out. I'm leaving work. I'm drinking I'm drinking on the clock at work. Like, I was being put through a lot. And nobody knows these things. And to be harassed every day by her mom it drained me. It drained me for the fact she was harassing my friends. I had people from TikTok pages dropping and sliding in comments and saying all these things. And you know what I'm saying? My name is being splurged all over the media.
all
From Twitter to Facebook
over.
to these different websites. My friends that were not even involved with this type of stuff, you know, like, they didn't even immediately, like, she's in everybody's inbox. And it's stressful. Yes, it could have been easy as 1, 2, 3 by blocking her. Cool.
Right.
I could have did that. It could have been easy as just making a police report, but you can't make no police report if I'm in Houston and you in another state too. That don't make no sense.
Yeah, because it's that internet.
And I just feel like the type of person that I am, if I wasn't the strong-hearted person, like the soul that I am, man, I'm telling you, if it was anybody else, just imagine how that person would have been feeling, being harassed or called these names or said that, or these false accusations that are being said that's not even true about them.
And well, it's I think it goes it's a little deeper than just harassment.
Yeah,
I mean, this woman, we're gonna call it out there, because when people look it up, she straight accused you of,
I got people.
Yeah, she straight accused you of killing her daughter, which is
me and
bananas.
A couple other people. Yeah,
it's because they went by her story. Yep. That's the thing. Nobody looked deeper into it or read past it. You know, I to be honest with you, if she didn't send me the stuff that she sent me and I saw it for myself, I didn't read it for myself and take the time to read it and converse with her, I might have been like, what's going on here?
I would have looked at that too and been like, wait, but let me read this.
It does, like, no, she had to have done it or whatever. But I read it for myself. I talked to her, and common sense,
which is nonsense.
It's word, like my little sister would say, word, like word. It's really bananas. It was bananas. And I don't know, you've gotten crazy text messages with pictures that she wanted to send me.
Ooh, yeah, I think that was the last thing that did it for me. I was just
at no time should a mother want to send pictures of her daughter hanging to a stranger. She wanted to send this to me. I'm like, no, that's going to disturb my spirit.
It all over her social.
And another thing that made me look sideways is, me and you talked about it, is how she was so disconnected when she talked about her on the show. She kept
on
saying
anything. I've heard this
the
lady on
body,
podcasts, all types of
the
stuff.
body. Yeah. She wouldn't say her name. That's why I needed you to humanize her for me and for people that saw the other show.
Yeah, Aliyah, she was a free, she wanted to be the most free spirited person she could be.
Mm-hmm.
And she just wanted to be happy. You know what I'm saying? She just wanted people to like her, to love her genuinely, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Right.
people were always against her. And people were not just, let's not get it, don't get it. She was a very gorgeous girl. And when I mean that to the deep root, because I never had been walking down the street with somebody and about 11 cars done humped already. God dang. It should not got barking. You gonna bark after a car? I was just like, dudes, people are thirsty out here. But yeah, she was gorgeous. She could stop a person in the middle of traffic.
Right.
And of course, there were those girls, her being lesbian, her being the way she was, jealousy. People were envious. Right. They didn't like her because she was a pretty girl. But then again, Aliyah had a mouth on her. She did. She was she always told me she would beat up somebody in high school, man. I was just like, girl, you're crazy. But no, she was about that. Like, she was about it, but it was just like she was with the wrong people. The wrong people knew her. The wrong people, the friends that she thought she had were not her friends. And that's why I said she was the only person I ever met that threw the word friend so loosely around. This is my best friend. This is my best friend. This is my best friend. How many best friends you got? I thought the max was 3.
Yeah, I don't use that word.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't even like people calling me friend. Friend who? Why? But like, she just wanted to be happy. She wanted to be herself. You know, she wanted people to love her. She wanted to give what she wanted people to give her what she would give them. Now, if she was rude or, it was, some argumentative type stuff or some dislike, beefed up stuff with her and whoever, that was between them and her. I ain't never let nobody really just try to bully Aliyah for the simple fact nobody knew who she was. Like, yeah, she had a big mouth. She had a big ass mouth, God forbid. She didn't know how to take things and just let it go. She had to do petty. She had to do something petty or this and that to be, get back. But
you got to understand where that comes from. You have to understand where that comes from.
Oh yeah, trust me, I do. Yeah,
she grew up in the system.
She grew up. Yeah,
right, right. So she always had to protect herself, probably. She probably always had.
She did.
So that's where that comes from.
I feel like she didn't have enough protection. I was her protection. I was her. I'm telling you, I was literally, I was her safe haven. That's what I felt like I was for her.
Now, have you talked to anybody? Because you're still, are you,
like, am I dating somebody?
No. Talk to about what happened. Like, therapist.
To anybody? Well, besides my friends.
Right.
But that's about it. This lady had the Steve Wilco show people hit me up.
No.
She had I got screenshots. I got the receipts. She had the producers reaching out to me trying to take a poly test, man.
No,
man. Not once, but the lady asked me for the second time. She was like, I think you should do it for the simple fact it'll give, her mom some type of closure. I was like, man, forget that. Forget all of that. I ain't getting paid to be flying out there. None of that. So I ain't going on nobody's show to prove nothing. Yes, had these people hitting me up. Like, I was willing to do it because I thought I was gonna get paid. And I was just like, man, at the time I'm like, okay, I'll do it. Y'all gonna fly me out there? Y'all gonna do it? Cool. As long as I ain't gotta pay for anything. Nah, when that lady told me, no, you don't get paid for this. This is straight voluntary. I said, huh? Baby, please. If you got that, I don't want to do it. I ain't doing it. For the simple fact, not just that, but because deep down, I don't have nothing to prove to nobody.
You don't.
I ain't got nobody. I don't got to prove nothing to her mom, her people, nobody. Because what was proved was the 3 years that I spent with her. What was proved was the 3 years that I put up with everything that she had going on and that we had going on together.
And you know what?
I went
Also
to therapy with Aliyah. I made her go to therapy, bro. Nobody else did nothing. They didn't want to help her.
Also proved it, and you did it on Tea Time, which isn't Steve Wilco.
Way better. Way better. You wouldn't have no mom or anybody wearing out backstage. Oh, you know what I'm saying? Like none of that.
No. You were able to tell me happy stories of Aliyah. Her mom couldn't. Her mom couldn't tell me anything.
Exactly.
Anything about her when I told her to tell me about her. Help me know her. This is your child.
At least from her childhood, you would think that she would say, talk about. Aliyah talked to me about her childhood with her mom and, the little fun things that she did do. And all these little places that, she could remember her and her mom doing, or they would go out or with the stepdad or whatever. Like Aliyah, I know those stories. But she don't have no stories as far as Aliyah at the age that she was at. From 18.
No, she didn't have any. She didn't have
no
any
recent pictures. No, none of that.
No, she no, that there was nothing.
No, exactly. All you seen baby pictures, just baby pictures. But there was nothing where Aliyah was at the age that she was with her family. You seen nothing.
Nothing.
So
you heard nothing. All negative. All bad.
Or that she liked being gay.
No. That's not what she told me when I asked her about her.
Really? I've heard her say that. I guess seeing it on her like on other stuff or whatever, and just snooping, she did mention that she loved being gay. She was gay. She loved being like gay, but this is a person that did not accept, Aliyah for who she was, for being what she was. And now, see, that's where I was willing to go to live with in Michigan with Aliyah. She didn't want to go home unless I went with her, and I was willing to go. I was gonna drop everything and go with her just because I knew she was gonna need me out there. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to be with her, but when her mom said no, Aliyah said, "Oh, that's out the door." Then she wasn't going back home because what we were, as far as LGBT, it wasn't accepted in that household.
Right.
So
that's not what she told me. It's not.
Yeah.
People are gonna tell you different stories.
They're gonna tell you what they want you to know.
Right. And you can tell
that they want you to hear.
Exactly.
But not the truth.
And you can tell by the energy.
Those, what lies between her eye, like behind the eyes that she had.
Right. Absolutely. And you can see it all in her eyes.
You can see it. And I could tell you one thing about that girl, man. When I would look into her eyes, it said every little bit of everything I needed to know.
You saw the brokenness.
But and let me ask you, because her was to give her the world. That's it. Protect her, keep her away from people that were so-called friends or these people that just wanted to use her, manipulate her. You know what I'm saying? And just everybody looked at her like she was a freaking walking like object.
She was an object. Yeah.
Like she's a sex object at that. A symbol. Yeah. And I did not like that because she thought that exposing herself was getting her. I had to come in and step and let her know, like, nah. If somebody wanted you, if somebody wanted to do this or that, they wouldn't have to tell you to send pictures of this or this, or have you do things that you don't feel comfortable doing, but you do it anyway because
or attention.
Scared. Exactly. She was a very attention seeker. So if you heard her mom always say, "Oh, she always was on Facebook or social media, this and that," that's because she wanted attention from people that she wasn't getting attention at home.
She was trying to get validation.
Yeah. And she still didn't get that.
Poor baby.
And there was not now time that I ever looked at Aliyah like as if anything that she had been through, anything that happened to her, anything that she had, none of that. I never let it define her, ever. Mm-hmm. I never looked at none of that as what made her her. What made her her was who she was, free-spirited on the inside.
Right.
That person that was buried under so much baggage.
Right. She was a broken little girl in an adult body.
So, yeah.
In an adult body.
And
That's what she was.
I knew that. Even when she
Because you
didn't
knew
know.
her. Because you knew her. Let me ask you, what was your break? Because it just came to me. What was your breaking point that made you do that video? That because you was wilding on that video. There was a video that you went. I was like, okay, she is sick of this. What was that breaking point? What? Because that's the only rebuttal I've seen of you coming at her on that one. I was like, okay.
It was just, I think my breaking point. That was my breaking point, to falsely accuse me of doing something to a person that I did more than anything went out my way for and was given. I gave myself to this girl. Like, that was my breaking point. Her mom was my breaking point.
Right.
The false
My breaking
information,
point.
the lies, the people
point.
hitting me consistently all the time on Facebook. People just saying this and that, or think that they know who I am as a person and who Aliyah was as a person. They didn't know nothing. That was my breaking point. I was fed up to the point where it's just like, y'all are all talking and saying these things, but y'all can't tell me nothing of Aliyah from her being a 2-year-old all the way until now. Y'all couldn't tell me nothing. Like, where were y'all when I was with Aliyah the 3 years that I was? I met a couple of her friends, maybe especially one good friend she had that was that she went to high school with in Michigan or whatever. And she actually came to Houston to Aliyah's apartment or whatever. So I met her, and then there was Blue. But other than that, I can't tell you all these so-called people, friends. Never seen them. Never saw them come to the hospital except for a couple. No, it was about probably one, but she wasn't a friend either. Either way, nobody. Everybody always could say how she was this person, or how that they could only speak on what she was telling them when we and her would get into arguments or we would break up and this and that. Nobody knew that Aliyah was abusing me. Nobody knew that Aliyah caused herself to be in the hospital because she's the one that cheated on me and I wasn't giving her no attention. You know what I'm saying? Nobody knew these things. Nobody slept with this girl in an abandoned church. I did at the bus stop. I did. Nobody provided or looked out for her the way I looked out for her. And I wanted nothing but her best. But like, I had nothing but love and her best interest at heart. Like, I was willing to marry this girl. And I don't even like marriage. But I literally turned against my friends. Even though I hated that I did that. I hated it. Right. Because my friends was my, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they were my dogs. I want everybody to get along. I'm a peacemaker. I always have been. And they knew the type of person I was, but they also seen the kind of person she was and then what it was doing to me.
It was toxic.
Yeah. I was drinking consistently. Like, if anything, she hated when I drank. But she never knew that it was because of her that I was drinking.
Wow.
Dealing with somebody with such a mental illness that I don't go through this type of stuff.
Right.
So what am I supposed to do? I just drowned. And that's how I went from there. The more in depth we got, the more stuff starts, like these things started happening, all these different situations, the more I just wanted to drown.
Right.
I could not.
Because your last year
above float no longer.
The last year was pretty bad. The last year was.
Yeah, it was.
The last year was pretty bad.
After my grandfather passed away, and she kicked me out, and she said the most disrespectful words I could ever hear anybody say after someone's family member has passed. That was it for me.
I believe it. I don't even know what she said, but
she just, like,
because
it was just the day after she didn't even kick me out. I packed. My grandfather was with me that day. I was finna set it off, and all I could hear was his voice in my head. Just pack your stuff and go home. And that's when I knew I was over it. I was over it. But I still wanted her. I still loved her. You know what I'm saying? It's just,
yeah.
After all the BS going back and forth, the hurtful things we didn't say to each other, we still wanted to be with each other.
Right.
But
That's that crazy thing called love. It's really crazy. Love is
man, love, you gotta love yourself first.
You have to.
And I know
Because
that
if you
now
don't,
because Aliyah, she did teach me a lot of things. She taught me and she helped me with things that I couldn't help with or see within myself. And I hate that I realized this all after the fact of her death, because it made me sit back and take some time to reflect on all of everything and see what it was and be honest with myself on how things did go and things could have went. But all in all, she did teach me a lot. So I gained from that. I didn't lose because I know either way it goes, she's happy now. At least that's what I hope she is, despite her parent being the way her parent is. But other than that, she was a lot for me. I definitely say that she changed me for the better.
so that's her legacy in your mind.
Yeah.
Not all the bad.
She was that butterfly. She was my butterfly. So
that is so sweet. That's really sweet. You know what? You did good. You did good. And for all the people out there that only hear and saw one side, I hope this gets out where they can see you for who you are. They can take back the Steve Wilkos show, because they could take a step back. I can't believe that. And look at the entire picture. I mean, instead of trying to just get ratings, look at who you were about to promote. Take a good look, dig deeper.
that's what I'm saying. I just feel like people should, do their own research, but also be careful how you just go based off of someone else's on what they say, because you never know how a person could, I could have committed suicide.
Right, because that right there, that what you went through was something. Yes.
Yeah, something. I like, you know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. You have to be careful. You got to be careful, because anybody, if it was anybody else, I'm pretty sure they would have went insane.
Oh yeah, because that.
But knowing me, I'm not that type of person. I'm not no suicidal type of, like, no. I don't want to be here. But if it was just anybody else, it just, y'all got to do better. Everybody got to do better. And everybody
stop the bullying.
Needs to stop.
That was bullying.
He say, she say, exactly. And stop gaslighting. Right. If y'all want to be or remember Aliyah and keep her name as free spirit, whatever, y'all just talk about the happy things that she did, how she made you feel and all of this. But don't sit there and ever try to go based on just stuff that didn't have nothing to do with y'all, or just what she said based on what she said, because it's never what she just says. She could tell you anything, but I know the truth.
Right.
So I just feel like people, whoever sees it, don't go out there accusing or making accusations on people or taking a story from a parent or running with it. Don't do that. Don't do that. Because at the end of the day, you don't know how that person or that individual is feeling and where their mind is at and what they could be going through at home, anything, just within themselves. But I have never had thought that I would have to lose a significant other. I never thought today, but man, it take a toll.
Well, you know what?
And I don't wish that on nobody. Not even my worst enemy.
Right.
So.
Well, you know what? It's 7:59, almost 8 o'clock.
Really? God, leave time.
I thank you so much.
No, thank you.
Time went.
I really appreciate this. I really did. It was a breakthrough for me. Mm-hmm. So I hope whoever sees this,
I'm glad,
and they can see that genuinely I did nothing but want nothing but the best for her, and I loved her with everything that I had. So,
yes.
That's
Thank
it.
you
We
so
got the
much.
good, the bad,
Yes.
and the truth.
We got through it. The good, bad, and the ugly.
Yeah, that's what my podcast is.
Well,
that's
they're going to be.
Go ahead.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that's what my stitch is from my podcast. The good,
well, when
the bad, and the truth.
Well, I love it. It's the truth. I love it anyway. So tonight, we're gonna end this because I have to send this in. Tonight you can hear this. Tell your friends they can also hear it on LLR Ohio.
Y'all go check it out.
You're the first. You are the first show. You're the first. My first morning one in Canada tomorrow. You're the first show.
Oh, I'm going live at 5 in Canada.
Kudos to you.
Oh, well, shout out to Canada.
In Canada.
The bacon. Hey, shout out to my boy Dirk. No, just playing. But hey, this is exciting.
Well,
I hope this can. I hope everybody gets to see this for real. Like, you know what I'm saying? This is a story that needs to be.
But how they get to see it is tell a friend, have them follow.
I had
tell them
Tea
to
Time
share
with
it.
Bunky, but not
share
Steve
it.
Wilkos though. We got Tea Time with Bunky, not Steve Wilkos. So look, this is the best place to be.
You stay right there real quick. Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. Go ahead.
Don't go nowhere. Stay right there. Give me 2 minutes.
No, I'm fine.
Look, you better stop these compliments. Stay right there. Look, you guys, like I said, go back. If you don't know what we were talking about, go back, review my September 15th show where I had Aliyah's mom on, and then you can kind of fill in some of the blanks. But then I don't even want you to Google it because then you're like feeding into the insanity.
Have good judgment. Have discernment. Use your discernment.
Yeah. I mean, they'll be able to see it.
This whole thing has led me to a spiritual path. So I love it.
What I'm talking about. I love it too. All right, you guys.
You are greatly appreciated.
I appreciate you. You just don't know. Wait a second. Don't go nowhere. You guys have a good night.